Hey guys, it's Brian O'Halloran. You may know me from such great films as Clerks, Mallrats, Chasing Amy, Clerks 2. You guys are listening to the IT and the D show.
Welcome back. Thank you once again for hanging out with us. This is the one and only IT and the D show. We're broadcasting live here at the Detroit Podcasting Company. I'm your host, Bob Walton-Spiel, hanging out with producer, co-host extraordinaire, Randy Walker. Guest this week, you might know him from our podcast, 60 years ago. Britton Woodman's in the house. You might also know him from Twitter, @Britton, on Instagram, @Britton, on Facebook, /Britton. The stories of of getting that name and having it confused with the country are fantastic. And the story that you just sent me, absolutely wild. I cannot wait to dive in. You can find us online, itandthed.com. Do us a favor. Give us a like on the socials. Subscribe to us everywhere fine podcasts are sold.
This month's meetup is coming up July 17th, Thursday, 5 p.m., and we will be back at Bar Louie in downtown Royal Oak.
No speakers, no cover, just a bunch of IT folks hanging out.
Business cards if you must.
We need more recruiters.
Absolutely.
Put out the APB. We might be ready for a pink slip party. I keep saying that. But we gotta find a venue in town.
Yeah.
That's not $14,000 for 3 hours during happy hour.
Right?
Britton, how you doing? It's been a while. Good to see you.
Yeah. I think I'll try to make it to that next pink slip party whenever it is.
You dodged us through the entire COVID. You hit us before, and we, I love a good origin story. You got to tell, I know we talked about it, but it's been ages.
Sure. So Britton's my real first name.
Right. Spelled as the country, correct?
Exactly like the country. I've never been there as of yet. We're talking about it for maybe my spouse's and my anniversary trip in a year and a half or so. We might hit up London, see some of my some of my relatives over there, because I do have a lot of family in England on my mom's side.
There was a scene in Four Christmases. I don't know why I love that movie.
Yeah.
All the sons were named Montana, Phoenix, and the dad basically said that's where they were conceived. That's not the story here, right? All right. No. I just wanted to throw that.
Good question. Excellent question.
Fair.
Nope. I was supposed to be Jason, I think, originally. Like, that's what my folks were thinking. And then the weekend I was born, like 3 other Jasons were born at that same hospital during that week. And so my folks decided to go the other way.
Fair. So here you have the name Britton. Here comes social media.
Yeah. 2007.
Some of us dove in sooner than later. Everybody tries to get their own name.
Right.
Was this like a holy shit moment where you were able to get @Britton?
Yeah, I was pretty pleased. It was 2007, and my librarian boss at the time said, "Hey, we're starting to experiment with reaching, our users through social media. Why don't you sign up for Twitter and play around with it a bit?" So I was pleasantly surprised to discover that, in July 2007, @Britton was still available. So I got it and started using it. Didn't end up using it a ton for formal library stuff, but I connected with a lot of the librarians of Twitter. And then a couple of years later, when Instagram came around, I signed up for that the day it went public on the Mac App Store, and grabbed @Britton there too.
So is England what are they? Are they United Kingdom? Are they Great Britain?
I think @England is the soccer team, the British soccer team.
Okay.
I don't know what the country is exactly. I think it's @GovUK.
Got it. So what, the hell that you went through, I'm shocked that you have it to this day, but what, now we're not going to get in the story yet, but just in terms of people adding you, how at the peak, what did that look like?
Probably the wildest day was the 2015 general election.
Not Brexit?
No, not Brexit.
Okay.
Pre-Brexit. Early in the evening as the results started to come in, and I think the government changed over there, I just kind of randomly typed, my ads are picking up. Something crazy must be going on in the UK. And that started getting hearted and retweeted, and my phone was getting hot and constantly buzzing as I sat there on the reference desk that evening.
Right.
And I think in the end it got 800 retweets and 1,000 likes or something. I haven't looked at it in a bit, but Every once in a while, somebody will still go back and hit the heart react on it, but it's not quite the same as it was, which is weird.
What about like today? Typical day. You get like people see it. Here's the thing, like you know, the fact that they would use a Twitter handle or an Instagram handle without actually looking to see what it was, or seeing that it's some guy's head as the as the profile pic, not like a seal or not the animal, the country. Right.
They it's still occasionally, now it's mostly about weather, or it's about, food or warm beer or what have you. I get those once in a while, once or twice a week. A lot of the times when I do get tagged in a post, it's just kind of reflecting the makeup of the current Voices of X the Everything app.
Right.
Kind of British nationalist. And I try to stay out of that stuff.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Are you still active?
I check it a few times a week.
Because like Twitter, I never got into it. But I don't get
dinged anymore.
Okay. All right.
Because I took the app off my phone. So I just log in through the web every so often. If there's, a news, breaking news that I want to see if I can find reactions to, because it's still kind of good for that.
I used to remember there was a guy that used to own like Chris.com. And he was a graphic designer. So he made it like his portfolio and it always got traffic. Now, come to find out, there's people that have other cities that own, like, is this a big thing? Like, are you a part of like this niche community?
I did for a while. For a while, I had, other people with first names following me and following back and all that stuff. I didn't mention this to you previously, but my Twitter account did get hacked about 2.5 years ago. Somebody was able, I had two-factor on it, but somebody was able to contact Twitter support and tell them, somehow convince them that they were me and I'd lost my two-factor and could they just go ahead and reset it. And whoever did that said some terrible things to a black journalist and blocked everybody who was following me and unfollowed everybody I was following. So over the course of a few months, because of the Twitter API only lets you do so many follows a day, I tried to kind of rebuild that after I got the account back.
What did you have to do to get it back?
So they were able to convince whoever the person was on the support team that they were me, but they weren't able to like confirm my email address. I still had access to the email address that I used to set up the account. So I just had to send a message from there saying, yes, this is Britton Woodman. I need the account back. Please reset the password for me and unlock it. And I, screenshotted the terrible tweet and then deleted it.
Any backlash from that?
I mean,
that's politicians do that. No, I got hacked.
Right. No.
And meanwhile, you're drunk.
It was incredibly embarrassing. And some people I was following unfollowed me, I think, and didn't follow back because maybe they thought I really did it.
Was it malicious or was it just like some Call of Duty thing where they're trying to be goofy?
I think whoever it was used the N-word and threatened death upon this journalist.
Good God.
Yeah, it was not pretty.
No PR to come out of that.
No.
So what is I got to ask, I'm sure you get offers on the weekly. Mm-hmm. Is it about on the weekly?
Yeah.
What, can you disclose like top offer you've gotten?
They never really give me a firm cash offer. I think I got a few $100s offer once for the Instagram, never the Twitter. Nobody wants the Twitter, but people ask me for the Instagram all the time. And sometimes just, hey, I've got a bigger following than you. I'm an athlete. I'm a model. Can I have it? I generally just ignore it.
You not even you think to part with it. I'm just thinking what the number would be.
Oh, you want to know what that?
No, do you have a number?
I don't know. Probably a down payment on a house.
Like $100,000,
something like that. Yeah.
I mean, it's real estate if you think about it, and if it's worth it to you,
right?
None of these services anymore let you buy or sell usernames, though, right?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Domains,
you can domains for sure, but I think usernames are.
I always wanted, Randy. I don't think I ever told anyone this. I put a bid in once every 3 months for detro.it.
Oh, nice.
That would be good,
right? And it's some Italian, but they want $30,000 for it.
Right.
Like, it is so not worth $30,000.
Yeah.
I did sell one domain once for $2,500. We were collecting all those podcasts.
Oh, yeah.
We were coming up with company ideas. I'm like, someone's going to give me $2,500 for that. I'm like, sold, yours.
I had Woodman.net at one point, and I let it lapse because I don't know. I still wasn't sure the internet was totally going to be a thing.
I had whataboutbob.com.
Oh, sweet.
I did. And I moved and I didn't open up my PC for like 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
And I lost mmmbeer.com, beer,
right?
And then what about Bob? And then nkbl.com, which was the National Kickball League I wanted to found. And I lost all three. And I'm like, what about Bob right now? No one ever put anything up, but it's for sale for like $30,000. And good luck with that.
Did you let diarrhea.pizza lapse?
No,
it's not loading anymore.
It was going to Hungry. Oh, maybe I did because it was like $80 to renew it. And I didn't want to aim it at Hungry Howie's because I might get an injunction. Is it gone?
Yeah, it just goes nowhere.
Detroit Applebee's still goes to IT and the D.
Oh, right on.
DetroitApplebee's.com. Yeah, diarrhea pizza's gone. Yeah, I think I got rid of it. Those weird. Like you'd think that those would be like $1.99, but it was like renewal was like $89, and I'm like, nope, stop.
Yeah,
unless
first year's free.
Unless you're Jet,
cheap.
yeah, it's $1.99. Yeah, unless you're Jets.pizza, then. But still, nobody's going to that. They're going to jetspizza.com.
Right.
Yeah.
I digress. So you got. I don't want to call it swatted.
Almost,
but
not
you
quite. I definitely
like
got
almost like a hostile takeover.
Yeah, they tried.
So let's start from the it was a quiet Sunday morning.
Yeah, it was actually Easter of 2020. So I was the last person on. I think I was the last person on the road for the company I was working for at the time. But I'd been home for about a month at that point, full time, just doing everything from Zoom and checking in. And Sunday night, Easter 2020, I get a pizza.
Was that COVID yet?
Yeah, that was. We're about a month into the stay homes.
Okay.
I get this pizza to my door from Pizza Hut, which we didn't mind. We ordered it sometimes, but we didn't order it that night. And I usually don't do pizza deliveries. Usually if we want pizza, I order it and go pick it up because I like driving. And so we sent the guy away. We thought maybe they were confused or something. And then a second one came like 20 minutes later. And I was like, this must be some like bored person calling up pizzas because they've been home for a month and maybe they're picking somebody from the phone book. My spouse was like, did you make anybody mad? I said, not that I'm aware of.
But what is this, 1986?
Right.
Like, that's the stuff we used to do when we were like 12.
Right. Right up there with, is your refrigerator running?
Exactly. Call a bowling alley. Like, do you have 16-pound balls?
Right.
Call a butcher shop. Do you have pig's feet? Yeah. Anyway, go on.
So two pizzas come. I think they were both from Pizza Hut, which was weird. I thought it was just
weird that people got pizza from Pizza Hut. That was weird alone.
There's so many other places.
Right.
But I went to bed, whatever. Thought it was
just two?
Odd. Pardon?
Just two?
Yeah, just two that first
night.
And then I get this, I wake up to this text message the next morning that came into my Google Voice account. And it says, hey, Britton, pizza is on the way to all of your relatives, including you. All of your relatives, including you?
Right.
Yep. Thanks for including me. Just give us the Instagram and nobody gets hurt. Or the harassment will stop, I think is what he said.
But that's like light. That's not like real harassment.
Right.
So then what?
So I started getting more calls from that number. And then like throughout the day, no more texts, but like I keep getting calls from strange numbers. First that number, then other numbers. And
but it's only going to your Google Voice. It's not going to your cell phone.
I had it set up at that point to ring my cell phone if I got a Google Voice number. I ended up turning that off after a couple of days because it was, just too much. About 20 minutes after each of these attempts to contact me, another pizza would show up, sometimes from Pizza Hut, sometimes somewhere else. And once we realized what we were doing, we started reaching out to them proactively and saying, hey, you are not getting a legitimate delivery order with cash on delivery from me. We are being harassed. And a couple of them caught on pretty quickly. I think I got a couple more from Pizza Hut.
Did you ever accept any of the pizzas?
No.
I was gonna say I'm kind of hungry. It smells good.
It's here.
Thought about
why
it.
not? Yeah.
What's on it?
Right. Yeah, considered it, but ultimately we just sent them on their way with apologies. And so, yeah, when we realized it was happening, the first thing my spouse Abby said to do was call the police and warn them that, if they escalated to other things, because by now we'd started to hear stories of people on the internet sending SWAT teams and stuff to other people's houses.
Yeah.
And she said, why don't you call the police and let them know this is happening? So I called the police and got a case number. And then I called the Washtenaw County Metro SWAT just in case they needed to be made aware too. And when I finally got through to somebody there, they said, oh, well, if you've already got a police case open, then we'll just go with that. You don't need to also let us know. And so, cross fingers.
But here's the thing. If I want something, Randy, and first you try to offer to buy it.
Yeah.
But then if you're trying to harass someone,
It makes me even less likely that I'm going to give into your demands. Yeah.
but at what point you're 37 pizzas came to your house and you're like, okay, guys, you can have it. This is stop this hell. Right. It's not, it's barely, it's like, I'm going to TP your house. Great. Good luck with that. It's, anyway, continue.
So we kept getting the pizzas, kept sending them away. It started out with just Pizza Hut, then it was some Domino's locations and Hungry Howie's, and eventually they got to some of the local ones. They started with the national chains first. And after about 2 days of that, then they escalated to the next step. And one night, I think it was a night, they called and left the voicemail message. And I sent you the voicemail message. You can drop that in, cut this part out. Whatever, buddy base. I got a guy with a British accent who was saying he was with Rat Ops, and he rattled off, I think, my brother's and my parents' addresses, and threatened to kill them if I didn't stop being such a petty little bitch.
So we'll play the first 10 seconds. Just okay. I know we got addresses, but just you can play the voicemail now.
And
future Randy, make note of that.
Yeah.
Thank you, future Randy.
Hi, Britton Woodman. This is Rare. That's what you're going to be knowing me as by. This is just to call you about your username at Britain. So basically, what's going to happen is I'm going to keep on harassing you, your family, etc., until you actually give over the username to me. If you fail to do so, the harassment will carry on, and I'll also be getting someone to go to your family houses and confront them in real life and potentially kill them if you do not give over the username. I'm really serious about this. This is not a joke. I can read out your address here right now.
So that kind of spooked me, and I probably shouldn't have let it spook me. My parents certainly were not worried about it when I called to give them a heads up. They're like, yeah, whatever. We'll deal with it if they come here.
Right. Put two in the shoddy and, don't answer the door.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. So I called the local police again and told them what I'd just been told. I sent the MP3 of the recording to the detective who'd been assigned to my case by the Ann Arbor police. And they said they would send a car around, but otherwise they didn't take it very seriously either.
Right.
And ultimately, they did expand the pizzas to my parents and my brother and my wife's parents in Ohio.
Am I the only one that's shocked that they still do cash on delivery pizza?
I know, right? I don't
there
understand it either.
I haven't done that.
Me either.
I think Jets gives you the option because I use the app.
Mm-hmm.
But I've just pay online and show up, and it's he doesn't have to mess with.
You might have to sign a receipt.
Right.
Yeah.
But he doesn't have to mess with change.
Right.
And you feel weird if you got to tip him $18. And you're like, no, I just give me 13 back. He doesn't have money.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. So even when I order stuff for delivery, I just pay it all online.
Yeah.
But
the food service or the food app, what was that? Not.
They were just going to each pizza chain's website and placing it.
Okay.
And they'd type in my name and my Google Voice number as the contact. And then sometimes they'd, Sometimes the pizza place would give me a call back. The craziest one was a pizza place in, I think, Pompano Beach, Florida, a Papa John's location. The manager called and said, hey, I'm just calling to confirm this order. I said, no, that's not me. I swear it's not me. Somebody is placing orders as me to try to get me to give him my social media.
As the criminal, let's break this down for a minute. I've watched enough Criminal Minds and enough true crime stuff. Are they trying to be coy enough where it's not a serious crime? Like if they're calling and say, I'm going to slit your dog's throat, that's immediate. So now is it like it's coy enough to like where the cops don't care?
I think so.
But it's still a mild inconvenience. It's barely at the level of an itch at your ankle.
Right.
At this point.
Right. They weren't really doing anything that would cause them to spend any money or leave any kind of significant trail.
Right.
At a certain point, our mutual friend Nuri started tracing the numbers for me. He was looking them up with an API that Twilio, the CPaaS company, makes available.
Okay.
And I saw it. First Nuri did it for me, and then I learned how to do it myself so I could stop bothering Nuri. And so I'd type in my API. I'd made like a curl request or something, type in the API key, type in the latest phone number, and I'd get back a little report that said it was usually from TextNow, which is a company I'd never heard of.
Okay.
They offer like an app where you watch an ad or read an ad or something, and then you can place a phone call to anywhere or send a text message to anywhere. So they don't require a credit card or anything.
Right.
They might have been accessing it through multiple proxies, who truly can say. But that's how the calls are coming in. All of those reports either said they were coming from TextNow or from a wholesale phone provider called Bandwidth that provides services to TextNow.
Okay.
So once I figured this out, I could start reporting the numbers to abuse@textnow.com or abuse@bandwidth.com and at least get them shut off for a while until he signed up with a new number and started again.
At this point, how many calls have you gotten? Not
I think
a handful?
A dozen or so over a few days.
Okay. That's a thing.
Yeah.
So what did you did this thing escalate? Like what
after a few days and after, I managed to get all the pizza places to stop delivering to me, it eventually escalated to tow trucks, which is apparently like the only other thing you can call in without money up front.
Right. These days, yeah.
They looked up our phone. They looked up our house. I finally figured out they probably got my address from like voter records. Like there are sites that aggregate public voter records of addresses.
They know your last name. You can find out if you through that. They know basically.
Yep. And I'd never been super secretive about my last name. So they looked up our house on Google Street View, and they saw the two vehicles that were parked in front of the house on the most recent Google Street View. And I guess they made an educated guess that the blue Honda Odyssey would be there. So they started calling in to multiple tow companies in like the Ann Arbor and Brighton area. One truck came from Brighton, which is like a 30 minute drive down 23 to our house, to say, hey, I have a blue Honda Odyssey in my driveway that needs to be towed. And so first one truck showed up and we kind of, ran outside and said, hey, we didn't call this in, I swear. And it took a little bit of persuading to get him away because he had an order to bring back a truck or to bring back a van.
How do you, because I've seen enough tow truck wars where you got to pay him $80 to drop it or whatever.
Exactly.
He was just like, okay, cool. And left.
We were almost. I think he began to realize we weren't BSing him when like three other tow trucks showed up at the same time. And then they could all kind of say, okay, this is iffy. But we asked him, because by that point we'd put a sign on our front door for the pizza guys if they showed up to say, hey, we are being harassed. We did not order a delivered pizza. If you were, given an order, please contact the Ann Arbor Police non-emergency number with this case ID.
God, what a pain in the ass, right? You'd have to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, they didn't. I don't know how many pizza places actually did that.
Right.
We made it available to them, so they'd have something to go back and explain with at least. So we had that sign on our door, and then we thought about putting another sign in the window of our van to explain the same thing. And the first tow truck driver we talked to, the one we spoke with the longest, said that sign would not dissuade him because he had orders.
Right.
And he had a mission to fulfill. So we eventually decided to stash the van a few miles away at a friend's house. And because we weren't really going anywhere because it was COVID time.
Sure.
So that was inconvenient, but at least we didn't have to worry about that anymore.
Seriously, giant.
Yeah.
Like, did any tow trucks show up and just, if they don't see, I guess you wouldn't know if they didn't see the car.
Right. I don't remember anybody else coming after those first four who we all told was happening.
I've gotten service from insurance, and don't you have to, like, you get a text, then somebody calls you, and you have to, like, reiterate your information. Then a text comes and you have to see to confirm.
Right.
Like, it's happened a few times. I'm stuck on the side of the highway. You have to go through a pretty big, like, multi-factor step.
Yeah, I've called my company's roadside
the fact that they would send somebody
or something.
Right, like they don't confirm insurance. That's crazy.
It's wild. I think they just saw an opportunity to get a vehicle that somebody would have to pay a few $100s to get back potentially. So send the truck is my guess.
All right, so pizza stores, you kind of stopped it. Your parents getting hit still?
Not a lot after the first few times because they were able to let their local pizza locations know that they were not legit cash orders the same way we did.
I guess we put all our stuff online. You want to find out who your folks are. I'm sure your Facebook or it's, because I'm trying to figure out like when they said the family in the beginning, well, how the hell do they know who's your family and who's just, because it's not like you have a unique last name like me.
Exactly.
Do you think any publicity that you get from this episode will increase the harassment?
I thought about that when I said Blue Honda Odyssey. Like, why did I say that? But I think I'm okay for at least another year. We can get to that in a bit if you want. But so what was I going to say? The once we stopped all of the pizza places and once we stopped the fleet of tow trucks, they kept calling, but they'd kind of run out of things that they could do from a distance without, any kind of record. So the calls kept coming. The password reset requests kept coming. Oh, sorry.
And again, I'm thinking they're not swatting you because that's pretty much felonious.
I hope so.
And that's, you know what I'm saying? Like, because if you follow anything on YouTube, if anyone on any political spectrum, they've been swatted if they run out of their house, for example.
Yeah, I've heard those stories.
Right.
And it's funny you should mention that because while these folks were harassing me, they were also harassing other people who had similar Instagram handles and Twitter handles. And one of those guys,
were they trying to broker it?
As near as I can tell, they were trying to get it and then flip it to somebody else.
What's the most you could probably, like a 15 grand?
I don't know. Yeah.
Like, is it worth, like, this is not criminal.
Right.
That's the most you're going to get from an Instagram handle. Maybe that. Anyway, go ahead.
I don't know what the market is to buy them. I know sometimes I guess they keep them because they like the prestige of having a short Instagram handle.
Is it worth all that time and effort and to do the harassment? Yeah.
If you're bored in 2020,
I guess
all the time, maybe.
I guess how much of it's automated too.
Yeah.
We played Call of Duty. I mean, other people swatted, guys at Britain.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
All right. So at Tennessee.
Yeah. At Tennessee was a Twitter account owned by a grandpa in Tennessee.
How did he get that?
I don't know. He must have been in the right place at the right time. Wow. Apparently one of his little hobbies was like getting cool Twitter accounts, but he didn't, bother other people for it. And so they were evidently doing some of the same tactics to him. And for whatever reason, I don't know, maybe these guys tried to swat me at some point and the local SWAT just didn't fall for it. But they eventually called the SWAT on this Mark fella in Tennessee. They called like the local SWAT or the local sheriff or whatever and said, somebody with a British accent said he killed 2 people in the house and he'd set a bomb on the front door, the front gate. So the SWAT guys show up and they're barking at him through the bullhorns and stuff. And he says, "Can I just come out?" They said, "No, we know we got to report you bombed the front door. Come out some other way." So he came out and he crawled like under the fence or something to try to get out to them. After he got under the fence, because he was an older guy, he's a grandpa, he stood up, fell down, and never got up again. Like he had a heart attack right there.
Good God.
And so that's when the authorities finally got interested. That's when somebody started, now that a death was involved, they were suddenly able to trace some of the stuff back. And it turns out there was like a small group of guys, including this guy in England that called me and some other group of individuals. And one of them was actually based in Tennessee himself. And his name is Shane.
Wait, when you said Tennessee had a heart attack, he's dead now?
Yeah.
Oh, geez. Okay.
Yeah. Mark, the guy who on the Tennessee account died.
But now it dies with him because...
Yeah, pretty much. I don't know. I haven't actually looked at it in a while.
You don't lose I haven't logged into my Twitter in years. Right. I don't lose it. You don't lose it.
Right.
Yeah, good. Good luck with that.
Yeah. It's not like they were able to get it from him.
What a way to... I mean, seriously, though, like...
Yeah. And on some level, I'm always going to be kind of tormented about if I could have gotten through to the authorities and get them to take it seriously enough when it was happening to me, that maybe it wouldn't have happened to him.
Nah, you can't beat yourself up about that because it never got far enough.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, the cops really can't, What a crazy thing, though. And like, so what happened to the Shane Sonderman?
That's the guy. Yeah. I have no idea how he hooked up with the other group of people, but apparently they had a little Discord.
4chan probably, or Discord, yeah.
They had a little Discord together where they exchanged. They did the research and they sent, and apparently he posted my contact information and Tennessee's contact information out there, and they planned these, little brief attacks.
I think doxing wasn't illegal. I think is there laws on the books now for doxing? I think back then it was like new. Yeah. Swatting was new.
Uh-huh.
I'm curious if they put laws on the books because I think it has changed. Anyway.
Yeah. So, summer of 2021, summer of 2020, he was arrested and charged with, I don't think it was murder. It might have been manslaughter no, it wasn't any of that. It was like conspiracy. It was not like a capital offense. And at some point, he was actually let go awaiting sentencing.
So he was a minor?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
He was a kid without a lot going on, I guess.
No, what kids had anything going on? They were all home.
Right.
Unless you were gaming, what were you doing?
Right, exactly. Gaming and griefing.
Jeez.
So they actually let him out for a little while in the spring of 2021. And that was like the weekend my parents started getting Chinese food delivered to their house.
That's a weird, I want to go back to that. That's a weird one count of conspiracy.
Yeah.
It's a very weird, like, I couldn't even tell you what that is.
Yeah.
Like, is it just a made up thing to fit in this bucket?
I guess. I think his attorney did a pretty good job of, saying he was remorseful. So he didn't get charged with more. To be honest, I haven't read.
It's still 5 years for a phone prank. I think but not saying he was indirectly, he was murdered this guy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it's shocking that it was only 5 years.
Right. But yeah, so and the one time he got out, my parents started getting Chinese food because he'd found another online ordering service that allowed cash on delivery. He found the one. It was called Beyond Menu, I think.
Okay.
So I reached out to Beyond Menu and said, hey, no food orders.
Wait, in the meantime, this guy was in prison? He was doing this from prison, or is this his Discord buddies?
I don't know.
Okay.
I think I was under the impression he'd been released for good behavior pending sentencing.
Got it.
And he went right back to his tricks. And he got put back in prison at some point, I think. Or not in prison, but yeah. Anyways, the summer of 21, he was finally sentenced to 5 years for conspiracy.
Got it.
And since then, nothing except I still get password requests for Instagram all the time. And if you get enough of them in a row, eventually like the fifth or sixth one says, hey, if you didn't request this, you can click a link. And if you click the link, it says, okay, we won't send you any more password requests for 60 days.
Well,
I have to click that link every 60 days, like the numbers in Lost.
I get Venmo. It comes in spurts. I'll get 3 phone calls in a row, like an automated, and I'll get like 15 password requests.
Yeah.
And it'll happen every 2 weeks.
Wow.
Like they're like, yeah, someone's going after my Venmo. You can have my 50 cents. I don't,
right.
You know, like, geez.
Every month or so, I get emails from Instagram saying, hey, somebody, Randy Walker 1794 is trying to reset their password. I was like, that's not my username. So they just signed up with the wrong email address. So like, I don't know who to send it to. So sorry.
Yeah.
You're not getting your account back ever.
There's actually, I don't know if I've told this story. There's another Bob Walton spiel in LA. When the internet first started, of course, you Google yourself, and I found this guy. Of course, I reach out and I said, hey, buddy, you know, it's actually Bob also. He thought I was trying to steal his soch. To this day, sees my LinkedIn, sees everything I do, sees my, wants nothing to do with me. Not saying I want to be buddies with him at this point.
Yeah.
But like, I think we've all come to the conclusion that it's actually me.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, and it was only one other one.
Right.
Like, it's one thing if there's, 14,000 Randy Walkers and you're like, well,
there's quite a few.
Name? Like, no one cares.
Yeah.
Anyway.
The only other Britt Woodman I've ever encountered played trombone with Thelonious Monk. Rest in peace.
Oh. You say that's you, actually. Now you can say it's you.
Yeah, that's me.
There
can be only one.
All right. So we're past the Chinese food. You found someone else in Michigan that this was happening to now?
Yeah, actually. I actually didn't find out about his name or anything until a friend of mine sent me a news article about the sentencing that apparently had been happening to other people. And through one of those news articles, I found the name of another person that had been targeted besides Mark Tennessee. And I found her on LinkedIn, and she, I think she worked in IT at Hillsdale College, and she had a short Instagram handle at some point, but I think they actually managed to pry that away from her, unfortunately. And she said, okay, this is the name of the attorney that worked on the case. This is the name of the special agent at the FBI that worked on the case, on the prosecution. And so I emailed that FBI agent at that email address that our friend gave me. And he was able to confirm that I was App Britain was one of the accounts that was targeted. And that's all he said. He said, contact me back if you experience any further harassment.
Okay.
So cross fingers, knock wood. No further harassment apart from
But it isn't 2026 yet.
Yeah, right.
Meanwhile, he's, Billy Madison in the jail cell right now with the list. And you're probably number 3 down the list.
Yeah, probably.
That's wild. To this day, would you do it again?
Would you
register at Britain again?
Yeah, I think I would.
Yeah, all of this.
I will say that right after I got that voicemail message with our addresses and the death threats, I did send an Instagram message to a DM to Gov UK or something and say, hey, do you want this? Because I don't want it anymore. Right. And they never wrote back. They never responded.
See, now I
didn't even try to sell it. I just want to get rid of the hot potato.
As good as the internet is, I always love referring to the documentary "Don't F with Cats," and it's 100 out of 100. It's so good, and it's or the thing with who was that idiot Shia LaBeouf that was doing the Peppy flags?
Yeah,
that was one of my favorite stories of all time too, where the internet got together and were triangulating patterns in the sky to find out where he put this flag so they could take it down and put up a Peppy flag. Fantastic story.
Right. It was based on this perceived time of day and this flight that looks to be directly overhead.
Yeah. Then they had an army of people going outside to beep the horn.
Yeah. I heard about that. Yeah.
So for as good as 4chan can be, then, on the flip side, you get things like this where just some guy that just wants to be left alone because he got some cool name.
Right.
Gets all the, I still say he should have kept one of the pizzas.
Yeah, I probably should have. But yeah, I didn't want to give it up because I have kids at home, and I don't. It makes me sound kind of more important than I really am. But I just want to show them that bullies don't win.
No, it's fair. Like, you got to stand up. I wouldn't have caved. Like,
Yeah.
for what? Unless the dude's got a gun to my head and it's straight out of a movie
Yeah.
scene where it's like, I'll murder your family. Yeah, cool, have it. Like, you know what I mean? If it's pizza, if it's mild, like, I think, on the scale, at least, not saying you got lucky because it's a pain in the ass what you had to go through.
Yeah.
But like, all things considered, I think, you can sit here and tell the story and we can laugh about
Yeah.
it. And not like, but I think you got to sleep better too at night. Because God, what's next?
Right.
Right now it's this,
Yeah.
I mean, at that point, so like I attribute this to like cybersecurity and the level of paranoia is phase 3 and all the shit you put in your data center. At this point, do you have a dog? Do you have guns under the tables? Do you have, did you like ramp up? Did you start Ramboing?
Not really.
Okay.
Not really.
All right.
I don't have a whole lot different. I sort of figure if it's my time, it's going to be my time.
Right.
And they really hadn't done anything to literally put me in harm's way.
Fair.
There's just a lot of threats so far.
Seen too many John Wick and Rambo movies where it's like all this, that montage scene where now he's like, got the bandolier with the grenades and he's tying the headband. Yeah.
Yep.
Got the knife on the ankle.
Love the montage. Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
Always good. But hey, Britton, I can't thank you enough for sharing the story. Fascinating.
Thanks for having me back.
Glad you're at peace, and hopefully, if you're not at peace in a year, we'll have you back.
Sounds good.
And we'll get the army.
Sounds good. Great.
We'll get the army to figure this. We'll put this on Netflix, and hopefully we'll get an army of 4chan people to figure this one out. But at Britton Woodman, thanks again for the time. At Britton, do not send them messages, especially not bad ones. But hey, we're going to wrap things up for this episode of the IT and the D show. On behalf of Bob and Randy, do us all a favor. Drink up your drinks, get your phone numbers. You don't got to go home. You just got to get the hell out of here. See you next week. Drive careful. Beat it.